Good morning. Today we are going to make MC Escher inspired tessellations. We are going to make a slide tessellation and a rotating tessellation. We're going to start with a square and then we're going to reshape two of the sides so that the new shape fits into itself in a more interesting design. We're going to label the top A, the side B, the bottom C, and then the left side D. This will help us keep track. I'm going to reshape the top, our A side, and I'm going to do that by making a line that starts at the corner and ends at the corner. You can make your line any shape that you want. You really don't want it to be too complicated. I'm going to do something like this, and this, and this. Next, I'm going to reshape the B side. Again, you don't want it to be too complicated. Start right on the corner and end right on the corner. All right, let's go ahead and cut these out. When I'm cutting, especially if it's a complicated line, I like to keep my scissors straight, cut slow, and use my left hand to turn the paper so it gives me a lot more control. Make sure that you slow down when you are cutting at the corner so that you can cut right to the corner. That'll help out your tessellations a lot. Now reconstruct your square so that it goes back into the way that it started. For our slide tessellation, we're going to take the A side and we're going to slide it down and match it up with the C side. The seaside, like the ocean side. We're going to tape it in place, and you really want to make sure that your edges are right next to each other and that your corners are right on top of each other. It's pretty important to get the paper all lined up correctly or your tessellation isn't going to work out so well. Then we're going to take our B side and we're going to slide it over to the D side. So our B and D go together. And then we're going to put down a little piece of tape. Again, making sure that the sides are nice and abutted next to each other and the corners are right on point there. Now this is our tessellation and it's a kind of magical. If you trace this, and I find that it's important to trace kind of slow, and I'm moving my left hand around the paper so that I can try to keep the paper flat so it doesn't buckle, and so that my tracing is as on point as possible. And this is the magical part. If I take my tessellation shape and I move it to the right, look at that, it fits perfectly. If I move it down to the bottom, it also fits, just like a puzzle piece. If I slide it to the left, it fits, and if I slide it up above, it fits. So that's pretty cool. In order to make our rotating tessellation, I'm going to take apart my tape, return my tessellation stencil to its original square form, and this time I'm going to take my B side and rotate it, pivoting around the corner so that my B and my C side are right next to each other. and tape that down. And then I'm going to take my A side and I'm going to rotate it around this corner so that my A and my D sides are right next to each other. Again, making sure that my sides are aligned and my corners are aligned. This gives me a slightly different shape. Now, if I trace this, maybe I'll just trace it down here. If I trace this shape, this is a rotating tessellation, so it'll rotate and fit here, or it'll rotate and fit here, or it'll rotate and fit here, or it'll rotate and fit here, and then it rotates back to here. Isn't that amazing? I think it's just so crazy amazing. And now I can look at these two shapes, and it's totally fine if I just treat them as abstract shapes. Or I can try to be clever like MC Escher and see if I can find monsters, animals, or objects inside these. So if I look at my rotating tessellation, I can kind of see how maybe this is a wing up here, and maybe this is a bird. So maybe this is his mouth is open, and he has like a beak of some sort, and maybe this is like his little crown, and he has a little eye, and these are his wings. This is kind of abstracted. And then maybe this is kind of like a tail. Maybe this comes around. It's a wing like that. Maybe these could come around too. So that's kind of like a bird. I don't mind that. And if I look at this one, I kind of feel like it's a person in profile. Like this is his nose. Maybe he has like an eye over here. And this is his nose. And then this is like his hair. So maybe he has an ear here. And this is like his hair. Maybe he has a mouth. And then maybe we use like stripes to make his hair. So kind of an abstracted guy. So this is man, and this is bird. So once you find a tessellation that you like, you can take it onto your paper and slowly trace that tessellation. And then if we're doing the rotating tessellation, which is my bird, then we're going to rotate it to its new location. It goes out here, and I can see that this is where it fits. So I'm going to put it corner to corner and then trace it again. And you're going to use the same process, whether it's for your rotating tessellation or if it's for your slide tessellation. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and rotate it around until it fits again. And then corner and corner, line up my corners. Slowly trace my tessellation shape. And then rotate it around again. Line it up corner to corner. Trace the shape. The part of the shape that's not there. Rotate it again. Corner to corner. And I'm going to keep making these tessellation shapes all the way off of my paper. Find where the shape fits over here. Drawing the part that I don't have, which is out here. And let's see, there's this big piece in here. Comes over here. I'm just tracing my stencil, the part that is not already drawn, until I extend all of my shapes completely off my paper. Finding all of those little shapes all the way off of the paper. Now you can find your bird or your abstract shape or whatever it is and use it to decorate your tessellation. If you decide that you like your slide tessellation better, then you can make it into your piece of artwork. Just take the tessellation. I'm going to rotate it this way so that my nose is facing to the left, my eye will be looking to the left. Lay it in the middle of your project paper. Carefully trace around the outside, really holding down the edges of the paper so that it doesn't buckle. And then, because it's a slide tessellation, you should be able to slide it and then it will fit into itself. So in this case, it slides up at kind of an angle. And you can carefully trace the missing edges. When I'm tracing, I find that it's really helpful to keep my pencil upright instead of at an angle. If the pencil is at an angle, sometimes it tries to go underneath the paper, and if I keep it upright, it gives me a better shape. You can see where I'm off just a little bit here. You can just kind of split the difference. I'm not going to redraw this part of my shape. Just by the nature of me being human and using a piece of paper, it's going to sometimes mean that I'm not 100% accurate with my tessellation. So just know that as close as you can get is just fine. And trace the shapes all the way off of the paper. I like to start in the middle to make sure that I have a nice clean tessellation that's not distorted and it's right in the middle. So that's kind of what people look at when they look at my artwork. But the beauty of the tessellations is that it just repeats and repeats. So we want to repeat them all the way off of our artwork, even if it is just part of the tessellation shape that gets repeated. Now I'm going to use my fine point, which is my thicker medium tipped Sharpie, in order to go over my big tessellation shapes. There we go. King and queen tessellation. There we are. 2 different tessellations. One rotating style and one slide style. Both inspired by MC Escher. Great job, guys!